Take two.
During S&G Carpets, get ready for the holiday sale when friends and family... Yeah, see, but if people go into the showroom this month...
Halloween sale up to 1/3 off.
1/3 off. Select floor.
Thank you.
Go into any S&G showroom before the holidays and... Yeah, my bad. During the Halloween sale at S&G Carpet, save up to 1/3 off select flooring. Plus, get S&G's no surprise guarantee and promise to beat any written estimate by 10%. S&G more than carpet. Go to sgcarpet.com for the showroom nearest you or to have their mobile showroom come to you.
They ask me how often they should change their filter for their air conditioner that much. What I tell people is, if your filter isn't perfectly white, it's time to change it again. Nobody wants to breathe that brown stuff that gets stuck into your filter when it's so inexpensive to avoid. For more honest answers or to book your appointment online, visit foxfamilyhvac.com.
Best, honest and friendly. Fox Family Heating and Air.
We want to help same great prices online as you'll find in store. Get the best deals when you shop our weekly ad. Like this week's 2 pounds of fresh strawberries or 18 ounces of blueberries on sale for only $4.97 each. And grab a large pack of our mouth-watering USDA Choice California-raised Rayleigh's Tough Sirloin Steak from Harris Ranch for just $4.97 a pound. Enjoy fresh ingredients at an amazing value from your neighborhood Rayleigh's and Bel Air.
The kitchen is open for business daily, 11 to 3. Try our house-smoked barbecue brisket sandwich, buffalo chicken wrap, or turkey cranberry panini, all served with beer-battered fries or buffalo chips. Our vegetarian fall wrap or salad is delicious. Try Nancy's mac and cheese bowl or pork chili. Both will warm you up inside. Come on up today. Make your reservation now at hellwoodwinery.com.
Our policy at no extra charge. We're making a really cute pet-themed radio commercial. Hear that snoring? 2 sleeping puppies. Oh, they're awake! And they're heading over to that cute chubby baby that's just sitting there. What? Oh, now they're licking his face. Words will never do this justice. You'll just have to picture it.
Get coverage for your pets with an auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Cats and dogs are purchase policy coverage and is subject to policy terms.
At Amazon. So now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. And with her brand new tableware, everyone's welcome at Maureen's table. All of her family, friends, even her neighbor with the pet. Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Dig into Amazon's epic daily deals. Spend less, smile more.
ZQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never looked like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good, feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
Willie Nelson and family are back on the road again, live in concert. On the road again. With the Avett Brothers, Government Mule, Lucinda Williams, Ida May, and more at the 2021 Outlaw Music Festival Tour. October 24th, Toyota Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime concert with Willie and the gang. At the 2021 Outlaw Music Festival Tour.
Welcome to the show. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton at Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to all the good boys around the country. I really appreciate it. Today is a beautiful October the 21st, 2021. Welcome to the show. As I say, let's get ready to rumble. Trying out a new podcast platform. I hope it works. I bought it for a guy at Home Depot. He said he didn't have any receipts, but he said, trust me, it's good. So, hey, I'm trying to boost the economy. It's all fair. Love and War. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world when you go buy a test drive your Charlotte Charlton and Big C Kitchen, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars all around the world on 17 podcast applications. Just say, welcome to Big C Sports, or follow Big C Sports, or give me Big C Sports, whatever you think, just say Big C Sports Podcast. Want to say also hello to Avery Kahn, who's predicting tonight that Denver will beat Cleveland. Give him some praise. If it doesn't happen, Avery, it's all your fault. It's all fair and level one. You can follow Big City Sports on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate it. From Apple Podcasts to Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Podcast Chaser, Stitcher Podcasts. There's so many Podtail, Podcast Addict, Luminary Podcasts. Also, rumor has it coming to Facebook Podcasts, which may be also changing the name. Facebook changing the name doesn't make any sense, but it does happen. As I always say, let's get ready to rumble. What a great day. It actually rained. It rained in California, so who knows what's going to happen with all the electrical devices that may get jacked up when the rain happens, and getting rain on electricity sometimes doesn't mix too well. It's all fair and love and war. As I say, let's get ready to rumble. I'm telling you, I produce the show. I direct all the topics. I have no teleprompter. I have no scripts. I have no producer in my ear. I know some people say, yeah, that's simply obvious, Charles. But hey, you do it. And at the same time, I upload to 17 podcast applications. I direct the show. I do the storytelling. I do the stats. I do all the play-by-play. Touchdown, home run, three-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. All fair and level war. And just like you, I don't know how this new podcast platform sounds. All I know, some guys at Home Depot, they would not give me a receipt. I said, that much money and I don't get a receipt? They said, trust. So they said, trust me. You ever have somebody say, trust me? So, hey, I'm going to give it off to, I'm going to trust them. Hopefully I don't regret it, because I don't even have a place to go back and get it. Unless that yellow truck is parked back in front of Home Depot tomorrow. That's all here at Level Work. But I do want to say I pay homage to every show. We go on 4 TV platforms, on iHeartRadio, of course, in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Alexa. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast. I want to say at the same time, as I do the show, I pay homage to my family on my mother's side. The matriarch, my great-grandmother, Mama, she was a wonderful person. Make sure the family stayed together, had food on the table all the time, and food in our bellies. Also said, boys, sometimes go outside, you're too loud. You know how sometimes great guys can talk a little bit too loud, and they love you, but they say, hey, sometimes you got to go outside. My great-grandfather, Pop, was a Negro League baseball player. He's the one that got the pitch. Swung on here deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. He always talked that way after he had a lot of moonshine. Boy, get out of that park. It's all fair level war. And then my mother, she actually started a Head Start program in Northern California. Give us some praise. Give her praise. The Head Start program, Northern California, also helped our Little League baseball team win a championship. The championship of the universe. It's all fair and level. I really appreciate that. And then everybody knows that I have a great, my grandmother, Mud Deer, she was a seer. Great business mind, helped keep the family together, always doing things. Even to this day, does things to let me know that we have a lot of spirits that are watching over us. Really appreciate that. Met a lot of wonderful people today. Life has been so beautiful. It's a beautiful world. Really appreciate opening up the doors and letting people in. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, also a seer and a great business mind. So really appreciate that. On my father's side, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, he was a pastor, owned 2 churches, and also at 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Really appreciate that. Very savvy businessman. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, helped with the church, also running the gas stations. Rumor has it she's the reason that everything works. It's all fair and love and war. My father, retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, made sure the planes could fly high so you don't have to worry about staying safe at night. And then my brother Todd, that baritone voice, always saying, hey, turn down the noise, you make too much noise. It's all fair and love and war. Really appreciate where I come from and love paying that forward. I also want to say, as I say, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I don't know what this new application sounds like, but I know it's a lot easier to work. It's like a tricorder in my hand. I feel like Captain Kirk. I want to say, somebody beam me up, Scotty. Hopefully he won't beam me up. I mean, where are you going to beam me to? If Captain Kirk was so real and Star Trek was so real, and the tricorders that everybody has now called a cell phone, they were very prescient. Gene Roddenberry way back in the day with Star Trek. So hopefully Big C Sports is going to go to bold new places and new civilizations to boldly go where no man's gone before. Hopefully I can always say beam me back to Earth, if that makes sense to you. All fair and level war. I really want to say today's show also sponsored by Super Draft Pro, SuperDraftPro.com, the official draft fantasy of the Caesars Entertainment. SuperDraftPro.com/Big C Sports, the exclusive fantasy partner of Caesars Entertainment. Go to SuperDraftPro.com/Big C Sports and give me some praise on that. Go ahead, say it. Love getting praise. You know, another thing that I love soccer, especially soccer that's played around the world, and the chants that go on with all the fans. They chant from start to finish. Really I get the feeling of soccer fans chanting from start to finish. That's what I love doing with Big C Sports. Also, I want to say today's show is sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on its game. Give us some praise. Just like TD Jakes, give us some praise. And don't forget the tithe. Give me 10% of whatever you make this week. Give it to Big C Sports Podcast. At the same time, I want to say I really appreciate the growth having with Big C Sports. Looking for a spot soon on the NFL Network and also with NBA Basketball TV. Really appreciate that. So give that some praise. Some good old boys working behind the scenes to make that come to fruition. And I really appreciate the growth of Big C Sports. So soon on the NFL Network, you'll see commercials with Big C Sports, also NBA Basketball. Give that some praise. Come on. Give it a round of applause. Give it some praise. Everybody needs praise. I really appreciate the way things are going with Big C Sports. There's a lot of good things that are happening in the world of sports. I want to take you to the world of NBA, the opening week of the 2021 NBA season. You have the NBA basketball in style. When I think about what happened, a number of remarkable games. Of course, the New York Knicks, that double overtime win against the Boston Celtics, and then Charlotte Hornets' 23-point comeback to take down the Indiana Pacers. And then later on, as I said, they will make the playoffs this year, the Sacramento Kings. They held on to beat the Portland Trailblazers, even though some guys tried to fumble the game away. My goodness, when you got a guy being trapped around the baseline, come to him. Come to him. Like, follow him. Go to him. Don't run down court. Man, the bookies were all over that game last night. Dollar Dame missed what could have been a game that would have sent them into overtime. But the Sacramento Kings, I told you, they'll make the playoffs this year as long as they give the ball to De'Aaron Fox and let him have the moxie that you have with Michael Jordan. He just has to lift a little bit more weights and put some meat on their shoulders. But don't be afraid. I think what happened last year with the Kings, they played not to lose. This year they're playing to win. We play to win the game. I'd rather play a game trying to win as opposed to trying not to lose. In life, it goes that way. So also going back into the Big C Sports, we have the Big C dating app on real estate. Not for you. Hey, come on, guys. Not for guys that want to go out and lip lock. For people that want to do the real estate thing, you want to go in the real estate business, you want to lower your mortgage rate, or you want to get that loan to buy your new home, whatever it is, get some cash out equity, you do a reverse mortgage, whatever it happens to be. I have a great team called the Big C team. We can help you get that deal closed. Go to BigCSports.com/Big C Sports. Think about that. When you want to hear anything on the real estate side, BigCSports.PACWM.com. Most of our loans are underwritten by Rocket Mortgage, also United Wholesale Mortgage, the number 1 and 2 lenders in the country on the wholesale side. So you want to swipe left or swipe right, lower your interest rate, and pick up the phone if you're paying more than 4%. Just pick up the phone, call 800-772-8624. We will see if we can head you in the right direction with our Big C team. It's all fair and love and war. I really love the fact, going back to NBA basketball, a lot of impossible things happened last night, especially that big comeback by the Hornets over the Pacers. But I want to take you to another game, Boston and New York. Jaylen Brown dropping 46 points, 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Give that boy some praise. That deserves a standing ovation. 46 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. The great John Morant, he dropped 37 points. He had 6 rebounds and 6 assists. That deserves some praise too. Give the good old boy John Morant some praise. Just like TD Jakes said, pray. I'm asking TD Jakes to pray for Big C Sports Podcast because I too deserve to be a billionaire. Come on, TD. You don't need all that money. Pray for Big C Sports. Give me some praise. Really appreciate that. All the pastors around the country that really have been praying on Big C Sports Podcast. What they say, Ephesians 3:20, for God is able to do exceedingly above and beyond all that you could ask or think. And I believe it. I believe it, and I'm one of the only sports podcasters in the universe that's not afraid to honor God more than saying God bless you. Ephesians 3:20, read it, it's all fair and love and war. At the same time, LaMelo Ball, he dropped 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Give that good boy some praise. Give him praise, praise, praise. Also, around the league, the great Zach LaVine dropping 34 points and had a big game. And then the big cat, Karl Anthony Towns, as well as Anthony Edwards, they combined for 59 points and 15 rebounds. Give us a praise. Give them praise. 59 points, 15 rebounds in one game. That's amazing. And then you want to add in Harrison Barnes. That good old boy dropped in 36 points on his own. So there's a lot of good things. I think about the Knicks and the Celtics, what it means in that East Coast rivalry. I mean, everybody's thinking about Brooklyn. What about the Brooklyn Nets? Kyrie Irving decides he doesn't want to be a part of them, so the chemistry's off. When the chemistry's bad, it's like a car that won't start. They have potentially a NBA championship kind of team, but they also have potentially a team that'll get knocked out in the first or second round. But the New York Knicks, they outpaced the Boston Celtics in double overtime. And what in the world was Spike Lee wearing? It's Halloween. Halloween's coming up. Spike Lee. I mean, the brother's a multi-millionaire, and I know there's some nice tailors in New York City, but he was dressing like he was doing another show from way back in the day, like, what's it called? What's the one that he had? One of the great, I mean, he has so many of them that I really like, but I say maybe Mo Better Blues. That was like a Mo Better Blues outfit that he was wearing last night, featuring the great Denzel Washington, all fair and Leavenworth. But the Knicks and Boston Celtics, they first played each other back in 1946, and they've met 100 times in the 75 years since then. It's very safe for those of you to see that matchup as one that goes down to the wire. When you think about it, the classic that was happening in New York over the Wednesday night, hump day, the Knicks won 138 to 134. It was the way basketball should be. People love basketball like they love soccer, like they love football, and like a lot of people love Big C sports. Give that some praise. It's all fair, Leavenworth. Boston had a lot of control in regulation. They led by as much as 12 points before they let the lead get away in the fourth quarter. And then New York built an 11-point lead on their own in the fourth period also. It appeared it may have cost them an opening night win. Instead, the Leprechauns pulled off an incredible comeback to send the game into overtime thanks to a last-second three-point play. Jaylen Brown for three! All fair level. Wouldn't it be great for a currency revaluation? Come on, President Joe Biden. All fair and Leavenworth. But for three, and then Marcus Smart, the ladder at the buzzer. It was a great game. You got to sit down and watch the whole thing. But Brown went for a career-high 46.9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. He deserves some praise. He must have had some TD Jakes praying on him. All fair and Leavenworth. I want to go to another game. LaMelo Ball in a thriller. He's a reigning Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball. I mean, all the Ball brothers played basketball, it seemed. The father must have been doing some right things, even though people criticize his parenting. But, I mean, a lot of black men get criticized by a lot of people because they want to raise their kids the right way and do the best they can. Sometimes you fumble the ball in life, and there are people that stand there and say, look, you fumbled the ball. But when you win, when your kids are doing well in life, how about give them a pat on the back? It's a mother and father that does that. But those children, they are blessed to have a mother and a father that cares about them and not a mother and a father that pits people against the other parent. That's some people do that. But really proud of the Ball family. I don't even know them, but I followed them growing up in California. In fact, my son Malcolm, who provides stats for the NBA for me, he turned me on to that team. I think they played down at Chino Hills in Southern California. They won a couple of state championships. And my son Malcolm, who gives me NBA stats, turned me on to that. Also, my daughter Daisy, she helped me set up many times when coaches would come to town, college coaches to the West Coast, about 40 to 50 at a time, and she would help me gather information on those coaches. And some I still talk to today. Give them praise. Give them praise as well as Big C with his wealth of knowledge. I love that very much. But going back, LaMelo Ball, last year Rookie of the Year, had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Give that some praise. Give that praise. Charlotte Hornets, they got past the Indiana Pacers 123-122. It was a great game. If you like NBA basketball, that was a great game. Down by as much as 23 points, and the Hornets stormed back with a 24-point run in the third quarter to get back in the game. I mean, it's all fair and level where I really love it. At one point, when you think about it, the way the crowd was going, he had counted 16 of their 24 points in a big run, and even receiving MVP, chat, as well as Big C Sports MVP, Big C Sports MVP, Big C Sports MVP. I hope this platform that I bought from some good old boys outside of Home Depot, they gave me no receipt. They say, listen, man, if you don't like it, just bring it back. I said, where do I fund you? He said, don't worry about it. You'll see. It's all fair and level war. It's all fair and level war. And then John Morant had a great night also. The Grizzlies win. He's one of the most exciting players in the NBA, in my opinion. And that's why the Memphis Grizzlies on opening night won over Cleveland. This is for you. I mean, everybody's scoring points. John Morant, he must practice a lot. Practice? Yeah, I'm talking about practice. He must practice a lot, dropping 37 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and at the end of the night, everybody was saying, man, that good old boy can play. Give him some praise. They all deserve some praise. I really appreciate that, what's going on with NBA basketball. It's all fair and level war. There are a lot of good things happening in NBA basketball, and I know that people, they have their own favorite of sport, and whether they get into it or not, I really appreciate that. So tonight's Thursday, not a large action tonight, but the Dallas Mavericks, they are on the road at the Atlanta Hawks, and when you think about that game, it's at State Farm Arena, and would you believe it? You can get a ticket for $34. You can't even get a steak at Ruth's Chris for $34. But you can see a basketball game with all those exotic meats. This game is sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? And a Maverick is a horse, and a hawk is exotic meat. If people don't know what the Big C Burger is, a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat on that burger? So you get a ticket for $34 at the State Farm Arena down there in the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. Trae Young will be doing his thing. And Luka Doncic, that good boy, he had 3 points coming out of his backside, if that makes sense to you. He can shoot the three. I mean, he's an amazing player. And so going on tonight, we'll see what happens in that. Milwaukee, the defending NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks. That's right. Give them some praise. The great King Giannis Antetokounmpo, give them some praise. They're at the Miami Heat. You don't want to get a Buck too close to the Heat because they might want to barbecue them good old boys. But that game's at 8 p.m. It's already underway at FTX Arena in beautiful Miami, Florida. And the ticket prices are starting at $32. Give us some praise. $32 for a ticket? I'm going to say it again. You can't get a steak at Ruth's Chris for $32. All fair and level war. That's a good price. What a bargain. $32 for an NBA game. And then the LA Clippers up north at the Golden State Warriors. Give us some praise. Come on, give us some praise. And then hold on to your seat. Now, I'm getting my media credentials for the Golden State Warriors. That game tips off 7 p.m. tonight on TNT at the beautiful Chase Center. Now, San Francisco can be a very expensive place. A lot of people say, I left my wallet in San Francisco. They can't leave their wallet in San Francisco. Tickets starting. This isn't a nosebleed. $76,000. Oh, hold on, my producer. That's $76. Oh, okay. I was like $76,000 for the cheap seats. Hey, I produced my show, so blame me. But $76 is the cheap seat. Hey, give us a praise. It could have been $77. Sometimes the extra dollar means the credit card goes through. $76 for a ticket. And that's the cheapest ticket in the house. But San Francisco's an expensive city. That's why oftentimes it's a treat just to go to the Chase Center. It's all fair level war. I love basketball. I'm hoping that everybody can get out there and rise and shine and see some of the great games that are going on. Everybody has their own opinion about who's going to win the NBA championship this year. I'm telling you, if the Warriors get Klay Thompson back, I'm not saying they're going to come out and win the NBA Finals, but this is a team. Magic Johnson said it himself, and he's part of the NBA's 75 great players. Give the great Irvin Magic Johnson some praise. Give him praise! Just like TDJ said, BC Sports praise. BC Sports giving Irvin Magic Johnson praise. Magic Johnson made more money out of basketball than he made in basketball, and he said Golden State is one of his teams to beat in the Western Conference, and Magic knows what he's talking about. They're a very, very good team. So looking forward to that. It's all fair and level war. NBA basketball is back. There's a lot of good things happening in the world of the NBA. So no matter where you go out to, all it takes is about $76,000 to get it. Hold on, Charlton. Man, start reading the promos. It's $76. Oh, the Golden State Warriors sent me a memo that said, quit messing up with the price of tickets. It's $76, not $76,000. Okay. Hey, it's called the bait and switch. A little bit easier to stomach when you go from $76,000 to $76 for a ticket. But I'm just going to run down the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and then I'm going to get into some more sports. I'm just going to say in the Eastern Conference in the Atlantic Division, pay attention to the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets, as well as the New York Knicks and the 76ers. They're going to be all in the thick of things. I'm going to go to the Eastern Conference in the Central. Chicago Bulls, Cleveland, no, not doing anything. Milwaukee Bucks will win in the Central. That's going to be my pick going forward. I'm going to look at in the Eastern Conference, in the South, in the Southeast. Is it any wonder the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat would be right there in the thick of things? You can get excited about Charlotte if you want to, but the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat, that's my opinion. I'm going to go over to the Western Conference. In the Southwest, you got to have the Dallas Mavericks, especially Luka Doncic is doing his thing. That good boy is showing out. Not too far behind those Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant can do his thing. They're not going to beat Dallas this year, but I think those two will battle for that division. In the Western Conference, don't throw any stones. Give me some praise. I want some praise. Now listen to this. The team that will win the Western Conference, we got the Los Angeles Lakers, got the LA Clippers, the Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings. Don't laugh when I say this to you. The Golden State Warriors will win the Western Conference. Give me some praise right now. I may eat my words, but I doubt it. The Splash Brothers, they went down to LA and they knocked off the Lakers, a team that everybody's favoring to win. But just like everything in life, it's time for change at times. And this Golden State Warrior team, if they stay healthy, if they get the Splash Brothers back, if you can shoot, you play to win the game. If you can shoot your way to a championship, they can do it. I'm going to go with Golden State to reclaim the dominance of the Western Conference. But there's so many good teams. The Clippers are good. The Lakers are good. The Phoenix Suns. You see, the Phoenix Suns got had last night by Denver. So I'm not looking for Phoenix to get back to where they were last year. And the Sacramento Kings, if you see what they did up in Portland, where they rarely ever win, they are going to knock on the door of a playoff spot. If they play to win as opposed to playing not to lose, you can count them in. But Golden State Warriors, in my opinion, of course the Lakers are going to be there, but Golden State should win the Western Conference. I'm going to go to the Northwest Division, and people may not like my pick here either, and that's okay. The Denver Nuggets are going to win that again. And then the Portland Trailblazers and Utah Jazz, I'm going to go with Denver and Utah to battle it out for the Western Conference in the Northwest Division. So that's my thoughts. That's my pick. That's what I'm looking at. It's all fair in Love and War. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout, in the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we are back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. It's all fair in Love and War. You know, some word about Major League Baseball. The Dodgers, my goodness, everybody's pulled a hamstring. They've all pulled some type of hamstring down at Chavez for being. But I think they were just they were down 3-1 last year. I don't think the Dodgers are going to get past Atlanta this year because the Braves have that, oh man, I hate saying the tomahawk chop, but they, you know, they do that. Some people hate it, some people love it, whatever it is. But I think this year the Braves will get through. I also think this year Dusty Baker will get back to the World Series. You know, I think when you think about the Astros, Alex Cora is such a difficult out. Opposing pitchers having a tough time with Correa this October. And, you know, Dusty Baker is just destined, or Dustin, if that makes sense to you. He's destined to get back to the World Series. When you look at the Dodgers, Justin Turner's out for the postseason with a hamstring injury. And, you know, it's amazing because players are so difficult to stay healthy. And the Dodgers have Curtin Kershaw's not there this year. and the Atlanta Braves are playing great. I know the Dodgers won 106 games, but they had to spend all of the energy to go to Game 5 against the San Francisco Giants that won 107 regular season games. And some point in time, you just kind of run out of energy. It's all fair, love, and war. But the Dodgers and the Braves in the NLCS, I love West Coast baseball, football, basketball. I love the West Coast because that's where I live. But I cover sports all over the country with Big C Sports. Give me praise. Yeah, give me praise. It's all fair and love and war. But when you look at the Dodgers and the Braves, 3 games to 1. I know they're already thrown out the first pitch. But when you're 3 games to 1, it's hard to come back from that. And the Braves, they had that chance last year, and they didn't get there. They let them off the hook. So I'm looking for, I don't want to call a closeout game tonight. Maybe the Dodgers get a win, but when you don't have Turner and, they got shelled, gave up 9 runs at home, not on the road, but at home, and then you're down 3 games to 1 in a desperate must-win game, and then Turner's out, not going to have Kershaw. They got shellacked with their best pitching. I know Scherzer's their best pitcher, but they got shellacked last night, and I don't think it's going to change much. Even if they win tonight, they're just going to go back to Atlanta and get beat. They were even asking Mookie Betts, they were asking Mookie Betts about the Dodgers' chances. They were in this spot before last year. They came back and won it. They were down 3-1. And he said, man, it takes a lot of energy. They just seem like they're spent. If you got 56,000 fans at Chavez Ravine and they're screaming at the top of their lungs, and the one game that you won in this series, after going down 2 games to 0 in Atlanta, you come back and you get a grand slam to get you back into winning the 6-5. Outside of that, they've been beaten up by the crowd. It seems like we're going to hear that in the World Series. I'm not saying throw in the towel. Throw in the towel like a Rocky. Throw in the towel. When the Rockies cornered the in Apollo Creed, we're throwing the towel. They killed that Apollo Creed throwing the towel. The Dodgers are not going to throw in the towel. If they win tonight, who's that girl say? It's going to take a miracle. Yeah, it's going to take a miracle because I'm crazy for you. Whatever, I can't sing the word like she did it. It would take a miracle. So, I don't think they're going to win tonight, but it'd be nice to see more of baseball. But I think they're just spent. And if you watch the body language, they play like they were spent. So give Atlanta some praise. They know what happened to them last year, down 3 games to 1. I think they have too much moxie, and they don't have Acuna Jr. But they have a team that's tired. And sometimes when you're tired, you don't want to get on the airplane and go back to the South and then get your butts whipped and then come back home. But that's a loser's attitude. I just think the Dodgers are spent. I'd be surprised if I'm not right about it. I think the Braves are going to go to the World Series. I picked the Giants earlier this year. I was wrong about that. I picked the Dodgers after that. I was wrong about that. I picked the Braves now. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It's all fair and 11 words. All fair and 11 words. But I'm going to go with the Braves. If they don't knock them off tonight, they'll probably get them when they get back to Atlanta. I mean, it's a great series. 3-1. The Dodgers on the brink of elimination. They spend more money than anybody in baseball. But if you're injured, it makes a big difference. And injuries, not making any excuses for anybody. But if you're injured and you don't have that swagger that the Dodgers need, then it can hurt you. I want to bring up something, too, that I like about, George Soler. He's activated off of the COVID list for Game 5. But I want to tell you something I love about baseball. Major League Baseball is going to provide housing for minor league players. Give that some praise. Give it praise. Sometimes people only deal with what they can do for themselves. But for Major League Baseball to provide housing for minor league players, that's a good thing, and I love baseball for that and doing the right thing. So whether it comes to the Alvarez Valdez lifting the Astros to Game 5 win, I really like what Houston's doing. I feel good for Dusty Baker. If they can just get it done and close out, they lead the series 3 games to 2, and they beat the Red Sox 9-1. And there was a time when it looked like after they won that first game, the Red Sox came out and they were blasting the Houston Astros. But there's something about Dusty and that cool calm that he has, and they came back and then they blew out the Red Sox at Fenway Park. So you got to give that some praise. It's all fair and love and war, but when you can do that, and you have a guy in Dusty that's won with the Giants, took the Giants to the World Series when he was with, back in the days when he had Barry Bonds. They were playing at Candlestick Park and then also moved over to Pac Bell Park at the time, now Oracle Ballpark. So I really like Dusty and Houston's pitching. If you look at Altuve, not the biggest guy in the world, but maybe the biggest heart for that roster. And they have just everything that you need, in my opinion, to get rid of this nemesis in Boston. Boston's a good team, but I like the Dodgers. I just think there's something that says momentum has swung in the favor of the Astros, and momentum has swung in the favor of the Atlanta Braves. So give them all some praise. It's going to be welcome to the South and the Southwest for the World Series. But I may be wrong. Who knows? It's all fair and level. Are you ready for some football? A lot of people say they love football. A Thursday night party. My goodness. Cleveland, this is for you. Well, Denver's coming into town. And I was talking to some people earlier about football and how it's a must-win for Denver. It's a must-win for Cleveland. And think about it. Baker Mayfield's out with the injury to his left shoulder, non-throwing injury. But he's out for Thursday's game against Denver. And when you think about it, 2017 Case Keenum managed a 3-13 record as the Vikings starting quarterback. Think about that. Give him some praise. That's when Kevin Stefanski was his quarterback's coach. Now think about this. It's a reminder that this season, Keenum began paid as much he is as a backup to come in to deliver when Baker Mayfield is hurt. And he's hurt now. So the good thing is that it happens. Keenum's going to be going to get some help. I mean, today or tonight's game, when you think about it, if you think about the return, they have Jadarick Wills returns at left tackle. Blake Hance is shifting over to right tackle. And having 4 or 5 of the team's starting linebacker allows Cleveland to go for a run-oriented game plan. They got to run the ball anyway to win, but it also takes the liability off of James Hudson out of the lineup. But in addition, that Javaris Landry might be activated. I don't know if that's happened yet or not. Even if he is, will he be effective? Odell Beckham Jr. remains in the lineup. Maybe it's in the air. Who knows if he's going to be effective if he starts. But they got to have success. In Keenum, last time he was a starter in Minnesota, he was 13-3. Now, Baker Mayfield, they're talking about him getting $40 million a year. Somewhere between $30 and $40 million. That's too much for a guy that could be about 60% of his passes. That's my opinion. So what do they do if Keenum has a great game and they beat Denver tonight? People say, oh, no, they got to keep Baker Mayfield. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend. Halloween is coming up, and the Browns wear orange and brown. But when you think about it, if he has a good game tonight, that contract for Baker Mayfield, it seems less and less important. Maybe you package Baker Mayfield and you move him on. People say, what? Why would you move him on? Look at all the TV commercials he's made. But think about it. It's just a thought. Not having Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is going to hurt. That's even more important for Keenum. If they can win with Keenum without Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who are one of maybe the top duo in the NFL and the AFC, that's going to bode well for the resume of Keenum. And maybe hurt Baker Mayfield some of that multi-million-dollar contract extension. Now, the Broncos' run defense is ranked 4th in the NFL, based on stats. They give up about 3.7 yards per carry. The Browns' defensive line, 3.5 yards per carry, which ranks 3rd in the NFL. So I don't think Denver's going to respect Cleveland's passing game much, which also would help Keenum. Remember, 13-3 as a starter in Minnesota. But you got to throw a lot of short passes against Denver's defense. They got to let them pass the ball. And short passes is going to help them more than trying to go 30 and 40 yards downfield. That run and catch is going to help. Now, the Denver defense, the Browns going to be without Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. But it's the same defensive unit that was outstanding in shutting down the Bears and the Vikings in weeks 3 and 4. But they got blasted by the Arizona Cardinals, and everybody does. So, touchdown Teddy Bridgewater, who's been turnover prone against the Raiders, expected to start against the Browns tonight. He's going to fight through some injuries. But when you look at what's happened over the past 2 weeks, the Broncos have allowed the second highest quarterback pressure rate in the NFL 40% of the time, along with 5 sacks. You got 5 sacks, you got to find a way to protect touchdown Teddy Bridgewater. But because he's also a guy that can run the ball, sometimes he runs away from the protection. So the Browns, they got to get back to having an aggressive man coverage. Denver has 2 main threats offensively. That's Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant. When you think about it, the safety position has been terrible over the past 2 games. I mean, touchdown Derek Carr. Carr looking over the middle, back to pass, throws outfield, caught, touchdown Raiders! They got to put that out of their mind. They got a short week, and now they're back in Cleveland. But they've gone from a guy in Greg Williams who stopped any deep play, having the safety play far back, and then Joe Woods as being a player that allowed uncovered receivers to get deep. I mean, it's just not the same defense that Denver had when they were 3-0. Is there some talk about moving on from the coach? I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense to move on from a coach in the middle part of the year. It's not like the John Gruden situation where he doesn't like anybody who doesn't look like him. Okay? What a shock to people about John Gruden. Not really. People that knew him, there's a lot of people that he agreed with and agreed with him too. But Gruden got thrown under the bus for communicating with some of his good old frat brothers, if that makes sense to you. But I want to just make a statement about this game tonight because Von Miller, he leads the Broncos with 4.5 sacks. He's going to be matched up against Blake Hance at right tackle. Now, Von can move around both sides of the ball. The tight end will be important here because Case Keenum going to need to be cautious because Von Miller can still rush the passer. He's amazing. I'm not certain how well they're going to be blocking him. Von Miller might get a 3-sack night. Give that good old some plays. Wasn't that a singing group, three-sack night? I think a 3-sack night was a music group. If not, it should be. So my thought is I'm just going to go with the home team tonight because Denver lost a big game to the Raiders at home, and they were down big, and they made a slight comeback. Don't call it a comeback, the great LL Cool J, but I'll call it a comeback. But when you think about it, when you minimize turnovers, it can make a big difference in this game. The return of Jedrick Wills and Jarvis Landry is going to bring some stability to the offense based on what we saw a week ago. While touchdown Teddy Bridgewater, he could be in for a tough day for the Browns front four with an injured foot. He has a hitch in his giddy up. But so did Peyton Manning, and they won a Super Bowl, if that makes sense. But when you think about it, the weather's going to play a factor in keeping the score low. But the Browns, I think they'll do enough. Case Keenum, short passing game, run the football, get the ball. Their defense, when they come in for the Browns, the crowd's going to be nuts. They need a desperate win. The dog pounds, woof, 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 woof. The dog pounds will be barking tonight. I'm going to go with Cleveland. This is for you. Cleveland probably wins this game like 24-20. I'm going to give that some praise. But they may lose also because as many interceptions as touchdown Teddy Bridgewater's had and been sacked, now has a bad foot, maybe, just maybe, they can sneak away and get a win with a field goal. But I'm going to go with the Browns 24-20. They're at home, and that's where I think the home field advantage. Teddy Bridgewater having a sore foot. Case Keenum, again, 13-3 when he was a starter for the Vikings. It's all fair and love and war. I don't have a dog in the... Hey, that's funny. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a horse in the fight either. It's all fair and love and war. But I think we're going to see a lot of good things when it comes out of that game tonight. It's intriguing. We have the NLCS where the Dodgers go home. I love L.A. Everybody loves L.A. But also... Oh, what's that song that Gladys Knight said? Getting on the midnight train to Georgia. Oh, I might not live in this world, but I can't be out here with mine. Something about the midnight train to Georgia. Midnight train to Georgia. I think they're taking a plane, though. if the Braves lose, they might make them take the train. But I think you can put it in the books. In my opinion, the midnight train to Georgia is probably, they can warm up the engines. Because the midnight train to Georgia, if they don't beat the Dodgers tonight, they'll probably beat them when they head back to Atlanta. But again, Tucker's injured. Mookie Betts is spent. The Dodgers got beaten up yesterday. The only game they won in this series was that they took a grand slam, and their top players I mean, they're just walking them up to the plate, and they're going back to the dugout. They played so many games over the last couple of years. I think they're still getting over the hangover from beating the Giants. That's just an opinion, but body language matters to me. And you can tell when a guy feels spent, and it feels like they're Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury right now. They're just waiting to be knocked out. It's all fair and nevermore. The Big C pause will be coming up right now. In the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the 17 podcast platforms in the universe. Number 1 is iHeartRadio Podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Hubhopper, and the Stitcher Podcast. So many applications. Alexa, just say, Alexa, play Big C Sports Podcast. You can hear it's all fair level war. Give Big C Sports some praise. ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast coming to you with my brand new podcast platform tonight. Tonight! I find out if I should buy podcast platforms from Home Depot and some guys on a yellow truck. It's all fair. It doesn't work. I don't even know what it's going to sound like. I'm just taking a chance. You ever take a chance? I guess people that go on those internet dating websites, you're taking a chance. Guys sending you in a picture where they were 20 years younger. You too, ladies, 20 years younger and 40 pounds lighter. All fair level work. You're not the person I saw on the video. That's why people should stay off of those dating websites. They have a lot of junk happening to them. Somebody's baggage is waiting for your next date. That's why you go to the BigCSports.PACWM.com and look for housing mortgages instead. All fair level work. But college football, are you ready for college football? Of course you are. We love college football. Give it praise. Give it praise. Gonna go down some college football. You know, it's all, I just tell you, you talk about teams that there's some things that happen in the world of sports. And you got Coastal Carolina got knocked off by Appalachian State. Give Appalachian State some praise. Appalachian State knocked off the second-ranked opponent. They beat Michigan back in the day, and now they knocked off them good boys from Coastal Carolina. So give them praise. I'm going to go with Big C's college football top 25. Everybody has their own opinion, and I have mine as far as who's going to be number 1 through number 25 in Big C Sports top 25 college football. But before I do that, I want to go for some of the other teams receiving votes, and that's Iowa State. You know, they could be within 26, but Iowa State, Utah, Arkansas, BYU, Florida, Air Force, Louisiana, Arizona State, Purdue, Houston, Virginia, Texas, LSU, and Fresno State. Ironically, Purdue knocked off the number 2 Iowa, and they're not the top 25, but that's just, you know, everybody has their own opinion. I'm going to go number 25, University of Texas, San Antonio. They are 7-0, and so give them some praise. Give them praise, University of Texas, San Antonio. Isn't that something? University of Texas, San Antonio is ranking higher than Texas and Houston from that same state. Isn't that something? Number 24, Clemson. The Clemson, they're ranked number 24 in the country. They're 4-2 on the season. Give them praise. Clemson Tigers, number 23, University of Pittsburgh. Also out of the ACC, they are 5-1. Give Pittsburgh some praise. Give the Pittsburgh Panthers praise. Number 22, the Auburn Tigers. They are 5-2 on the season. Give them good boys some praise with Bo Nix at quarterback. Number 21, the San Diego State Aztecs out of the Mountain West Conference. They're Big C's number 21 team in the country ahead of SEC Auburn, the ACC of Pittsburgh, Clemson, and then Texas San Antonio Conference USA. And number 20 is the number, I'm going to go the Baylor Bears. San Diego State is 6-0, okay? The Baylor Bears, they are 6-1. Number 20, give them praise. Just had a big win against BYU last week. Number 19, the SMU. The Pony Express is back. They are 6-0. Give SMU some praise. Remember that program was retired a couple of years ago. Number 18 is North Carolina State. They are 5-1 on the season. Number 17, Texas A&M. They're 5-2. Remember when they knocked off number 1 Alabama a couple weeks ago? And then number 16, Coastal Carolina, they just fell to Appalachian State. So they're going to drop down in the rankings. Number 14, Kentucky, they're 6-1, them good old boys. Number 13, Notre Dame. I love to clap for Notre Dame. Play like a champion. Notre Dame, they are 5-1 on the season. They only lost to Cincinnati. Number 12, Ole Miss. They are also 5-1 out of the SEC. Number 11, Iowa. They're 6-1. They were number 2 just a week ago before they got knocked off by Purdue, the Boilermakers. Number 10, Oregon, out of the Pac-12. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. The Oregon Ducks, the mighty Oregon Ducks, are 5-1 on the season. They slipped past Cal. They got a big game coming up against UCLA. And that game will be sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger that comes with what's all this exotic meats. Because last I checked, a Bruin and a duck are exotic meats, all fair and level. Number 9 in Big C's college football power rankings. I'm going to bring it to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're at 6-0. I'm 40. I'm a man. Give them some praise. Out of the Big 12, the highest ranked team in the Big 12. Number 8 in Big C's college football top 25. The Penn State Nittany Lions. They are 5-1 on the season. Only lost to Iowa when the quarterback got injured. Penn State's a better team than that. Just my opinion. They will challenge for the Big Ten championship. Franklin's been doing his thing there. Number 8, Tucker's been doing his thing. So number 8 Penn State at 5-1. Number 7, Michigan State Spartans. They're 7-0. Give them praise. They are 7-0. Not a lot of people expected them to be this high. But they have been winning in every game in front of them. Sometimes not that impressive. But they've been playing solid defense and consistent offense. Number 6 in the country. Who's got it better than us? Everybody. Not necessarily this year. Michigan is number 6 in the country. They are 6-0 on the season. And they are Big C Sports in the top 6. And Coach Harbaugh, they say you ain't done squat until you beat Ohio State. But right now, they're undefeated and they're flying high, those Wolverines. Number 5 right in front of them. The Ohio State Buckeyes. They are 5-1 on the season. Give the Buckeyes some praise. The only loss they have is to a Pac-12 future champion in the Oregon Ducks, in my opinion. So why is Oregon ranked below Ohio State when they beat them 42-35 at the Big House? Because that's just where the ball bounces. When Oregon lost to Stanford on the farm, they dropped them down. But how, when you say, well, Ohio State's number 5 in the country, and their record is 5-1, wow, who did they lose to? Well, Coach Day lost his first regular season game, and he lost it at home against a Pac-12 team in Oregon, and everybody tries to keep the Pac-12 out of the playoffs. But they're the only team to beat Ohio State this year. Isn't that something? Last 2 teams that Ohio State's lost to is Alabama last year's national championship game, and this year, Oregon. So why does the Pac-12 not get the respect? It doesn't make any sense. UCLA knocked off LSU. LSU just beat 20th ranked Florida. And then Ed Orgeron's I guess they want to step aside from him because he likes more things. He likes exotic meats, if that makes sense to you. Give that man some praise. They fired him from doing what a lot of those guys do. But it's all fair and love and war. But how's Ohio State ranked 5th? They're 5-1. And the team that beat them was Oregon, ranked 10th. They're 5-1. The loss that Oregon had was to Stanford. That's always beaten Oregon when Oregon's ranked in the top 5 for some reason. And then the team that beat Ohio State was a non-conference team in the Pac-12, Oregon Ducks. So I would like to flip it. You ever have someone tell you, flip off, man? I'm going to put Oregon at number 5. And I'm going to drop Ohio State to number 10. Now, the voters say, wait a minute, Big C. Big C, that's not what we agreed on. Well, if you ask the people that beat Ohio State who won that game, they're going to say the Oregon Ducks won. So how are they 5 spots ahead of Oregon? They do this crap for the playoff committee so they can say, well, the Pac-12, Oregon won, but they're ranked too low in the rankings. Well, we're going to put the team that they beat. In fact, it was 35-28. It could have been worse than that because Oregon jumped all over Ohio State at home. Even with all the home cooking, and people know the home cooking happened at the Horseshoe. But I'm going to put Oregon at number 5 and put Ohio State at number 10. And if someone asks me why, but why, Big C, why? Why? Because a duck is better than a nut. A Buckeye is a nut. You need nuts to put them right ahead of Oregon if Oregon beats them. That's why. Number 4, rankings only, but they're better than number 4. Alabama, give them some praise, Nick Saban. Should be the next coach at USC. OJ, go get Nick Saban. Put him in the back of the Bronco. We got Nick Saban in the back of the Bronco. He has a gun to his head. He's signing a contract as we speak. He was signing the contract as OJ went down to get him. He still got that Bronco. Go bring Nick Saban out to California. He comes out here anyway to steal our players. May as well bring him out here to sign up for the USC soldiers. Give him some praise. Quit messing around and get the best. You want the best? You mess with me, you're messing with the best. Isn't that what Tony Montana said to Scarface? You mess with me, you're messing with the best. Get Nick Saban and ride that right horse. Well, you want to ride the right pony. Bring Nick Saban. He would look good on a horse. Trade that duck for a horse. Yeah, a horse can get you a lot farther down the road than a duck. It's all fair level where Nick Saban, the new coach at USC. Hey, I call for it. It should happen. But the Tide are 6-1. They got, if you believe this, throw it out the window. But number 3 is Cincinnati. They're not better than Alabama. You can say what you want to say about it. They're 6-0 in the season. Line them up with Alabama, head to head. That'd be a 3-touchdown game by Alabama. You can hear it right now. 3-touchdown win by Alabama over Cincinnati. And that's on the road. Bring them down to the heat and humidity of the South. Alabama wins by 4 touchdowns, my opinion. But rankings are what they are. Number 2, Oklahoma. They are 7-0. They win by luck and the skin of their teeth. But give them some praise. They play to win the game. And they win a lot more than they lose. They're 7-0. They're just waiting to get knocked out again in the playoffs. Because they'll always put them in. Last time I saw Oklahoma win something big, I think they beat Florida State back in the day under Stoops. But when I think about it, Oklahoma, going back to national championship games, they got beat by USC 55-19 in the Orange Bowl. I think it was the 2004 Orange Bowl, 55-19. They got beat by Florida, Tim Tebow's team. I think it was 24-14. And they got knocked out in the Rose Bowl by Georgia. It was a high-scoring game, but they lost. And then, last year again, they got blitzed by Alabama. And they always put them in the top 3 or 4, as opposed to taking a Pac-12 champion and giving them a chance to have a wide-open offense and that team that plays defense. So Oklahoma's ranked 7-0 right now. They're ranked number 2, but they'll get knocked out again in the bowl games, all fair and level. Number 1 in the country, Georgia. You got to give Georgia some praise. Give them praise. They have that, no, that's the Braves. But they're still down in Georgia. Their defense is legit. Their offense can score points. And they, too, still play from California, J.T. Daniels. So I'm going to give them number 1 ranked in the country right now. That's according to Big C Sports. It's all fair and level war. I love so much about the world of college football and NBA basketball is fantastic. I love NFL. Of course, NFL is king. We're going to have Big C's NFL previews on Friday's show, as well as High School's Friday Night Lights on Friday's show, bringing that to you on Big C Sports Podcast. I really love everything that's going on. It's all fair and level war. I am trying this new podcast platform tonight. I don't know how good it sounds. All I know is they did not give me a receipt. But it was a price. It's a deal I couldn't beat. They made me a deal I could not beat. Or what they say, I make him a deal I couldn't refuse. Either way, I still tried out the platform because I'm trying to help a brother out, if that makes sense to you. It's all fair and level war. So no matter what happens tonight, Major League Baseball should be, ultimately, Houston will play the Boston Red Sox tomorrow down in Houston. I'm looking for Houston to get into the World Series, get back to the World Series. And rumor has it they have a lot of cameras in the dugout. Whatever. Hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Let them good boys do what they got to do. If you can't beat them, join them. Dusty Baker brought a lot of stability to that program, and I think Dusty's going to be in the World Series for 2020. Give Dusty some praise. Give him praise. And I love California. They wish they all could be California men. Or is it girls? Whatever it is, California has it going on. It's a great place. It's a great place to live. one of the most expensive places in the universe. It's all fair in other words. But I love bringing Big C Sports. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, you rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? And he said, why are you eating all this exotic meat? Ali said, I'm pretty, I can't possibly be beat. With all these Big C burgers, I'm light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. That's why you heard down goes Frazier. Because of all those exotic meats that Ali was eating that made him light on his feet. All fair and level war. As my beautiful mother says, there's never ever an excuse for racism. You hear that, John Gruden? Or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that crap, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And that's what Big C Sports. Also, call our Veterans Crisis Hotline if you know anybody going through garbage. Just go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and get our veterans some help. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, welcome to the show. Let's get ready to rumble. We thank you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a super fantastic day. Thank you for following Big C Sports on this new platform all around the universe. Man, I hope this new platform turns out fine. Why didn't they give me a receipt? Man, sometimes they say they may be an offer I couldn't refuse. You just got to sign the contract. So I signed the contract. Everybody stay blessed.